All right, guys. Welcome
Mhm.
to our live breakdown of Loki. Right now, it's just looks like it's just Dave and I, but I know Esteban will be joining
Esteban.
us very, very soon. And
Yes, he will.
yeah, so Johnny will not be joining us today because he has some pressing matters, and also he is yet to watch the episode. So,
That
so
would be
why don't we
hard.
Yeah. Why don't we start with you, Dave? Let me know what you thought of this episode.
Well, we kind of talked about it after we both watched it. We were just sort of texting, and we called it filler in a way, but we sort of agreed that as far as filler episodes go, like it's still focused, on the plot. What's up, Steve? We were just doing a little kickoff. You didn't miss anything, man. We were just talking about how we felt like it was semi filler, but filler done as well as a filler episode can be done. Like it was still relevant to the plot. We still got a bunch of details, things that we were hoping for. So though it wasn't, like a main story, like nothing crazy happened, it's still I was engaged, and it
Yeah.
was it was still like classic Loki as far as episode 3 goes. But
Yep.
what did you think, Steve?
No, I felt pretty much the exact same way. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I normally get like something that says I'm talking, but maybe I'm wrong. Um, but yeah, no, I felt very similarly. I texted Walk. We talked later that day, I think, and I was like, yeah, it was good. Like, there was nothing bad about it, but it definitely didn't feel like full on the overarching Loki story that we're building up towards. It felt like it was just like tiny pieces. There were some like really good pieces and really good insights in there.
Mhm.
I think they're building a stronger case that this is not a variant of Loki, that this is Enchantress in my mind. Um, they, they really keep driving at the powers that she has as enchantment.
Mhm.
It's almost like they're hinting at something with it. But the aversion to being referred to as a Loki is,
Yeah, she really was not having that at all.
yeah. And then I think the big TVA reveal of everyone at the TVA is indeed a variant from their own respective timelines.
Including Mobius, right? Who was absent in this episode. We didn't get any Owen Wilson, which was kind of a
Oh,
bummer. I was I
that
was
was the
just
biggest.
starting to feel that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
sort of bummed me out.
yeah. So
One of the things I enjoyed in this episode is the whole like how we started off with uh, with them talking in the room or right where they were talking at the bar.
Walk be frozen.
Yeah, I think so. Talking at the bar when they were on the arc, I'm guessing, is where he looks surprised.
Whatever that train was.
Yeah, which
Is he
was sort of like what was that movie with um, Captain America in it?
Snowpiercer?
Wait, yeah, Snowpiercer, dude. I heard somebody called it out that was a possible Snowpiercer reference. So I thought that was dope if you watch that movie at all.
Could have been. I really liked Snowpiercer. I haven't watched the series at all, but I actually thought the movie was really fucking solid.
TNT show,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there he goes.
Oh wow, yeah,
All
he's
right.
the actual host too. So I have no control over literally anything. But
Cool. Well, now it's just you and me shooting the shit. So,
I'm done with that.
yeah, I'm fine with it. I feel like you and me got.
Where was
I
so after the episode at the beginning? It picked right up after Loki sort of pieced out into the little TVA portal there.
Yep.
and they went right to the TVA. And I remember seeing somebody, I don't remember where I read it. I must have watched a breakdown. Somebody was like, Sylvie got there. No, you're good, brother. You're back. We were talking about Sylvie and Loki getting to the TVA right at the beginning, right when it sort of starts. And she tried to use her magic on that one guard, and she realized that it wasn't. they weren't having any of it.
Today.
Oh boy.
And that was just she. So she obviously had never been to the TVA. She was surprised by the fact that because she normally does whatever the fuck she wants wherever, and then she had badass fighting skills too, which was also impressive. And I was sort of let down by the Loki and Sylvie showdown. I thought it was going to be like a badass fight, but they sort of.
But I think that was another hint too, though, that like this isn't variant Loki, because if it was a variant Loki, how would she have not realized that her magic wouldn't have worked there? I mean, unless it was a variant that was somehow able to elude the TVA completely over time. Like she knows about the timekeepers, she knows who they are, like she wants to go kill them. If she doesn't realize that her powers aren't going to work in the TVA, then that makes me think that she's never actually been to the TVA.
Right.
Knows about it. But yeah, I think that was definitely like kind of a cool lead in, and like it felt like it was moving like, oh shit, like here we go. Like they're at that elevator, they're gonna get there, and then Loki dropped him off into what do they call it?
That planet there.
I want to call it tetanus, but I know it's not tetanus.
Tetanus 1. Yeah, it was something 1.
Yeah, and they called it. I'll find it. Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna bug me. And I just heard it like 30 times too, and it's just
Lamentus 1.
Lamentus, yes, Lamentus 1.
In the I think in the Marvel,
it's Lamentus 1. Sorry guys, I'm over here trying to connect as best as I can.
Yeah, it's looking.
Sit on top of that router or something.
Put a foil hat on her and just hold her up real high and see if she helps out with the signal there, Holmes.
That might work. Lamentus 1, I to my understanding, is a Kree settlement of some sort, or that's what I thought. I could be wrong, but I read something briefly at some point that it's in Kree space. So
2077 was the year, right?
Yeah, 2077.
And that was one of the apocalypses, right? That was saved in the Tempad. Like she had them all sort of bookmarked, so to speak, so that she could kind of hop between them. And that was just the one that Loki picked, or was that an accident? Like there was a whole bunch of weird things that I was thinking, because when they got there, it really felt like there was this impending doom. You saw the fucking moon come in and everything was shitty, and Loki was very sort of jovial, didn't really seem too concerned about it. And as we saw throughout the episode, he really just didn't take it seriously, almost as like they were all pretty close to death.
Right. I saw something interesting in that, and I never ended up going back and watching the scene from the first episode, but one of the things that somebody called out was when they're running towards the Ark at the very end of the episode, right before it blows up, and they're running through that like kind of disheveled shanty town, whatever it was. I think referred to Walk. I think you referred to it as a shanty town when we were talking the other day. But there's that tower that comes falling, and Loki just kind of like just looks at it, and it reverses and stands back up. Like when's Loki been able to do that?
Right.
like he's an illusionist, more or less. So somebody said it's like it's possible that he pocketed one of those time stones, or he pocketed maybe all those Infinity Stones at one point or other, even though they didn't work at the time in the TVA.
Right.
So just to add to that, the one thing that would discredit that is he would have to know which reality that time stone was picked from, or which universe, for it to work. So in order for that to, like, I don't think he would know
He'd have
something
to
like that.
grab them all, just have a sack of
Right. And
infinities.
just because I kind of missed some of this conversation, I'm not sure if you touched on it. I'm sure you have, but this whole thing being one of the Lokis setting the other one up, by placing them into an enchantment, so that they can gain their trust. Now, which Loki this is, not sure. There were two specific scenes that came up where it could have possibly have been one of them putting the other into a trance. So there was the one scene where she attempted to grab Loki and he called it out. He's like, "What are you doing? Yeah, you can't do that." But she also in the last or within this episode, I can't remember exactly where she said it, but she said, yeah, some people just take a little bit, the stronger the person is, it just takes a little bit more time. So there was that, and then there was the scene where he was drunk on the train. She wakes up and she's like, it's like she has this confused look on her face because she was asleep, and now he's drunk and he's dancing and he's singing. So those are two very key scenes where they believe somewhere in there they were able to put the other one under, place these images in their head to gain their trust, because what's going to happen is or with the ending, as we all know, how the hell are they going to get off? You know what I mean? Like, how are they going to get off of this? And that was my first thought, is like, this has to be fake. It has to be in their heads because of that very specific reason. It's like they can't die on this planet.
Sort of like what Sylvie was doing to, what was that, C-20? Officer C at the TVA at the beginning, how she, they were at that brain freeze thing at the bar, and she's like, wait a second. She like looked around. It was eerie, that scene. I thought that was eerie. And that sort of explains. So does that explain what she was saying? Like, it's real, or what was she saying over and over in that one episode? Was that like,
and that's another thing
from her being fucked with?
Well, that's what they're saying as well, is like that's where the where they came in and they spoke of how she takes memories from a past life, puts them there so that they feel how how familiar everything is. So they're thinking, because they do that, and when she takes over their mind and she takes them over, that's exactly what she does, is she places them at a point in time where everything was real, and their minds are wiped by the TVA. Again, this is them being a variant, and their minds are wiped. They don't remember that, so when they see that, it confuses them, and it's like, what? But that was real. But that was real. So whenever she does that and she takes over their body, that's what she's doing. She's placing them somewhere else, leaving them in a trance so that they don't even bother fighting her on taking them over, because they're in their real world, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think the TVA still has the knowledge that the variant has been hiding out in these apocalypses. So it's very possible that the savior is the TVA popping back up, and whether or not Mobius catches them and brings them back, or if it's like oh shit, the TVA's here, grab one of their temp pads and we'll jump through You know,
Can the TVA see them in the apocalypse?
So
They
that
can't.
here's my question on that. They can't because one, it is an apocalypse. So no matter what they do, it's not going to change the course of it. And two, prior to her going there, she blew up the main main timeline. So there's nothing but craziness going on right now.
So they're still scrambling to fix the sacred timeline, let
As far as
alone
we know.
searching apocalypses.
Yeah.
As far as we know, yeah.
Yeah. There is still, yes, the timeline was obviously screwed up, but you know, you got to imagine that the TVA still has the ability to, you know, look at the prime timeline, the sacred timeline, whatever it is, and then be able to pinpoint there that, you know, hey, if they popped up into the TVA, they're probably still traveling around the sacred timeline, not one of these, you know, variant timelines, because whatever. I don't know. I think I don't think the being saved off of Lamentus is going to be any sort of like big crazy reveal.
Right. It's going to be like they're going to happen at the first 5 minutes of the next episode, and then we'll be on to whatever's coming next, probably.
I would love if they do, because I know we're supposed to get Kid Loki at some point. I remember reading that they cast somebody for that they assume is Kid Loki. So it'd be interesting if they started that storyline with like somehow Kid Loki saving him, but I don't know how that would.
Kid Loki.
I don't. Yeah, that's gonna be my prediction right there. Is that one of them took them? One of them has them under, and it's quite possibly Lady Loki put Loki under because he got so drunk. But I wouldn't be surprised. It could go either way, really. I don't know who put who under. I know my assumption is that one of them is definitely under, and we revisit that, and they actually get to where they have to go, if they are even there in the first place.
Right.
What were you saying before you got cut off, Locke? You were talking about the scene in the bar.
Yeah, in the beginning, the train scene where everything started. That's what I was gonna get into. Is like the fact that everything started with her showing that she has the ability to put herself in people's minds and create and like dig into their memories was a big reason why I think that everything is essentially a dream. Because they were really trying to push how they need to start working together, and they were really putting it in their mind. Like if we think about Inception, right? When you when you put someone's thought, you have to put it in there and make it feel like it was their idea to begin with. So like throughout the whole scene, they were just like, everything is, yeah, so you trust me, right? You trust me because I trust you. You trust me. Like they said that so many times that to me it makes me feel like they were one of them was trying to implant that. It is more than likely is Loki, because you know right now we think that we forget how manipulative he can be and how powerful he can be, especially
feels like he's on the ropes right now.
Right. Yeah. So we're kind of sleeping on him, right? And we're on the high of Lady Loki or
Sylvie.
We're on that high of, oh, she has to be powerful, and you know, so more than likely it's him who took control of her, showing like I'm fucking Loki. You know what I mean?
I'm still that
guy. But there was a lot of things hinting towards that, and that's why I'm so stuck on that outcome, because it all makes sense. And not only that, but you notice that after this happens, I want to say it was another key thing is after they were holding, and he's like, "What are you doing?" You know. if you notice, the planet that's falling, like they were in turmoil. Everything was going nuts for a little while there, and then after that, they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna walk it, and there was nothing attacking them. Like it kind of cleared the path for whatever they were doing.
When they were making their way to the Ark, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was a very, very, very long shot with no cuts in it. It was just one continuous shot of Loki and Sylvie dodging buildings, explosions. Like it was like some Scorsese shit. Like it had to have been at least a minute and 15 seconds. And like I always notice those because I love the long shots. And I mean, it wasn't necessarily like the best ever, but you know, the cinematographer did not have to go that hard, and they did. And I really appreciated it. It was really, really an amazing shot, and I'm gonna watch it again just for that because it was very well done. And like I said, I'm in agreement that it's sort of Loki in control just because he was so nonchalant most of the time. And I mean, if I were fucking with you, Walk, and shit was going down, and I knew that I was controlling shit, I wouldn't give a fuck either. I'd be like, oh yeah, it's pretty scary, isn't it? Let me just catch it. Somebody said when he like stopped that building, like that was the projection, like getting out of control, and he knew it, and he was just like, okay, fine, I'll just fix this real quick, and then they got back to whatever they were doing.
I was watching a breakdown of the show, and they made a good point that a lot of people were surprised by Loki's you know, I forget what they call it, but when he's able to move things with his mind and whatnot, a lot of people were surprised by that scene because he stopped it. But we've seen it before in the Avengers when he was locked up and he threw everything off of, you know, within that room. He like disheveled everything. So we knew he has that power. We just tend to forget because Loki, we see little bits and pieces. This is like the most that we've had to really focus on this character. Other than
ever,
other than him being like, yeah, he was the bad guy in Avengers, but he was really, we were really more focused on the monsters, on the, you know, on the aliens and stuff attacking New York.
Yeah.
And he was just like this guy that we knew. He was Thor's brother, and you know, he wasn't as menacing as,
kind of
as they wanted him to be.
Whatever.
Right, exactly.
Where's Black Widow at? Let me see that ass.
You're not wrong on that. But no, yeah. So we've seen that he had that power before. So it very well could be that he was in control, but also we've seen that he could move things and he can stop things just, you know, with his power. So I'm not sure if that was a clear indication that they're in the Matrix.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
It does kind of feel that way. So I'm looking forward to the next episode because again, and like we said earlier, I couldn't really speak on it, but you were talking about how we talked about it, and we felt like, yo, this is very much a filler episode. It did feel like a filler episode to me because of what the banter going back and forth. But like you said, it was the best possible filler episode that you could do. There was some action there towards the end. There was a lot of dialogue where if you missed it, like those are very key points in this. And these are the first 3 episodes, man. So if that was filler, I look forward to more of that type of filler.
Non-filler. Once it gets back to the sacred Loki timeline and it doesn't branch off anymore, we're in for some fire. John, he's this motherfucker.
Yeah, he's watching.
I got you. I can't see. I have it full screen, so normally I have the comment box on the side. This is for Johnny.
There you go. There you go. So with all of that going on, I look forward to the next 3 episodes, man, because there's not much space left for fillers. And
were you guys disappointed how short this one was? It was like 42 compared to like the 53 or.
Not really. I felt like they did well with it.
I think they did well with it, but yeah, I'm always going to be disappointed when they're shorter episodes.
I always look at those times.
Yeah, I think I think runtime was like closer to 36 minutes too. So
let me ask you a question on this too.
WandaVision credits.
Yo, he's mega happy for you, bro.
Good looks, buddy. I like that. I like his YouTube pic. That's a classy picture.
Johnny's classy all the way. But I also wanted to ask a question too, because it apparently I didn't think anything of it too much. I didn't really think of it when it happened, but I did notice it, and it was the specific scene that has been causing some controversy on the interwebs, as it normally would, right? So Loki comes out as nonchalantly as being bisexual. Now, obviously, this is big for a community that it's definitely big for a community that couldn't voice these things in the past and whatnot, and I've heard things on both sides, like, oh, this is amazing that this happened, and then I've also heard people being like really upset, like, yo, why do they have to put this stuff into Marvel? Like, did you guys even, because I personally, when that happened, I just kind of brushed it off. I'm just like, oh, okay. I mean, to me it makes sense, because I put Loki.
It seems on brand for Loki.
It does.
Honestly, like
it does.
The best thing I saw is I saw some memes floating around where it's like, everyone up in arms about it and being pissed that MCU made Loki canonically bisexual, and it was like, people that actually read Norse mythology and realize that Loki like turned into a goat and fucked another goat and had goat bait, or like something like that, and it's like,
yeah, just weird.
Yeah, like that's
shit.
That's exactly the type of shit that people don't give credit to. And it's the same fucking people that are getting mad that, oh, he's bisexual, that's wrong. But then I'll, pick up their Bible and get, look the other way on some dude getting drunk because his daughters gave him too much wine and then his daughters fucked him. But that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. I just pissed off everything.
No, but I mean, I understand that too.
Sure.
I'm letting people, like, my whole thoughts on it when it happened is, like you said, like in the past, like he speaks a certain way. I automatically put him as he's a prince. For whatever reason in my head, he's like, even though like he's of Asgard, he's like from this other time when we know, like, even in ancient Sparta or whatever, that was the biggest thing, right? Is like they would. The men would have sex amongst each other. One, because if they were intimate with each other, they would be more likely to protect each other with their lives. And two, because it made them manly. So like, it's like the way I just automatically took it as they don't see that in the same light as we would. So it didn't surprise me when they said it, and it didn't really, like, I was just like, oh, okay. But also, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, it literally has no effect on me anymore. Like it does not matter, and the fact that it matters to some people is stupid. But like,
right, and I mean, the way that we grew up, and like how it's gonna vary between different families and households, but that's neither here nor there. It's like, it's just some people are really up in arms about it. I saw a whole rant. This guy went in on TikTok and just went on this whole rant on how this is not and I'm just like, all right, it's not, to me it wasn't that big of a deal, but it does but it did make me think about it, and like why are we seeing Marvel specifically, like with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we had a very black presence in that story arc, of racism, and how the turmoil within him to become Captain America when it wasn't something that he felt like he was worthy of, and how it affects the black community. It did make me think, like, okay, so why is Marvel like going that route? And the best explanation which is probably why I didn't even think about, like, I didn't care to even think about it in the first place, is we're basing this off of one-off movies, maybe like a trilogy, whatever. This is the very first time where we have a brand that spans across films, TV shows, whatever. There's like so much. It's even that is spilling into the comics a little bit. It's its own universe. So they have to protect that, and by protecting that, like, we've already seen how society is nowadays, man. If you get canceled, dude, like, none of your stuff is selling. So I also think that, yeah, we're gonna, this is not gonna change. We're gonna see an uprise in these issues within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they are protecting what they have already built. And and I'm not saying that they don't actually care about it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that in order to make sure that they check all of the boxes and this continues to flourish in the way, then yeah, they have to kind of pay attention to a lot of those things that for decades no one paid attention to or even really cared about, as far as the movie industry.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be somebody pissed off. I'm sure there will be people pissed off when, the Marvels premieres and you got a Muslim Pakistani teenage superhero, and there'll be somebody pissed off when, they decide to make Iceman gay or something like that. And it's like, it's how the characters were written. Get the fuck over it and move on with your life. Like, it's not world ending to you. And at the end of the day, like, there are humans that you're walking by on the street that are also gay or bisexual or transex. We're all
whatever.
You're all pieces of shit equally, and you can look at yourself in the mirror and get just as pissed off with yourself as you can with the people around you. So get over it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's my.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, to me, it's just whatever. It's not going away. It's not going away. Like, it really isn't. So we just have to deal with it in our own way and kind of move forward. But as far as I've already gone into what I feel the next episode is going to be. We're going to get that reveal of whether this was a story or not, or they're saved off of this planet somehow. More than likely, if it's not that they're enchanting the other, one is enchanting the other, it's more than likely the TVA is going to come in and pick them up. But they do you think that they would be able to salvage that ship now that it exploded, like the energy source, or you think it's just done?
Well, the energy source doesn't really matter if the pad is busted.
So, yeah,
that's true.
We crumbled it, right? Wasn't it like after he got thrown out of the train?
Yeah. Yeah. I really don't know. I think it'll probably just be the TVA swooping in somehow, or another Loki somehow. Maybe some of what we're getting is we're gonna eventually have like a room full of Lokis doing the Spider-Man thing. Like, I'll point
that'd be great.
Because we haven't seen President Loki yet. For some reason in my mind, I feel like I don't think President Loki is the Loki we're following around. I think that's another Loki they're gonna come across at some point, and he's gonna be like, I got to doing this because I did this. And it's like, okay.
Early on, I was hearing that King Loki was possibly who we were going to get, but we don't know. We'll see in the next 2 episodes. By the way that this series is running, we're going to get a lot of answers right away. It's almost like we have a question and we get the answer within the next episode.
Yeah,
which I'm enjoying. I don't like all the speculating. Like, give me a little bit. Give me a little bit.
Just a week. Don't give me too long in my head, or else it gets weird.
Yeah. That was the problem with WandaVision. Is like, we didn't get answers for a long time, and that made our minds go crazy. We thought of all of these scenarios, and then we're extremely disappointed when those scenarios didn't map out. So Yeah, so I'm liking that we're getting all of these answers like right away. I'm loving it. Do you guys have any like last thoughts on this episode? Really?
No, just bravo to that long shot. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, listeners, viewers, go fucking watch it again. It was good.
I didn't appreciate it at the time, but as you were describing it, I was like, yeah, no, I do like a good one.
You're like, this is badass, dude. It was,
Yeah, I saw them break that down because it looks like it was like a one take shot, but no, they were actually mapping out like, oh, I think this is like where they more than likely put in the next scene, and but it was either way, it was.
Yeah, they made it look continuous, and that was impressive.
Yeah,
that was enough.
I feel like this. I feel like this series is going to have a really good. Is it Assembled that they do, or Building Unit, whatever the like documentary episode?
Oh yeah.
I
feel like this series is going to have a good one. So
I gotta watch those. I've been sleeping on those. I did sleep on the Falcon Winter Soldier one.
Me too. Yeah.
I feel like I would not wake up for that one either.
Yeah, and although the WandaVision one was pretty cool, the best thing about it was Vision with ears.
Oh my god!
See, I'm not about that life.
I love seeing all the behind the scenes stuff, man, because it's just stuff that really interests me. Like how did they come up with that? And yeah, Dave, it might be worth a watch for this one if they break down how they broke down that scene.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. If we don't have anything else to add to this, we'll cut it off at the 41-minute mark here. Do you have anything to promote for the near future? Nothing. I don't except for Insensitive Culture.
Episode 71 coming up.
Episode 71. We're going to be filming that this week, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into our live event. We're doing this every week. The day may change, but pretty much we've been pretty good with noon Eastern time on Saturdays. But if you're not familiar with Insensitive Culture, we are a podcast. We drop an episode every Thursday on both YouTube as well as the audio format. So on your favorite podcasting app, remember to rate, review, subscribe on all of it. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, guys. Peace.
See ya.